Yo, what's up, guys? Bringing you a quick Horus Runick deck profile. So this is the deck that I'll be playing at locals this week. Um, so the deck total is 41 cards, and it's still a bit experimental because I'm not quite sure exactly how to build the deck. But I'm gonna test this build out, and then we'll see how it does this week at locals. Alright, so I'll start with the main deck. So first, playing 3 copies of MSD, the searcher, 1 copy of the guide that lets you draw one for each different type on the field, 1 copy of the one that protects you if your opponent removes one of your cards by a card effect, and then 1 copy of Happy. 1 copy of only of all of these other ones because if you draw them, they don't really do anything, and you really don't want to be breaking on them. So 1 copy each is okay. It's fine. And you definitely want 3 copies of your searcher. So that's it for the Horus monsters. And then playing 3 copies of Diviner. The main play that I want to go for with Diviner is I want to send Herald of the Arclight, and then that'll make Diviner level 6. And then I want to use its effect to add this card, Illusion Magician of Chaos, I think it's called. And then I'll use his effect to get to Magician's Souls, and then Magician's Souls can get rid of any extra spell and trap cards in the hand and help me to draw more cards. So that can come pretty handy. And since Diviner is a level 6, after that you could summon Hugin and then use both of them to make Chaos Ruler, and then dig for MST because he's a dark monster. Or you could dig for hand traps, but mainly it's to get more Runick spell cards in the graveyard. So that will be it for the monster engines. Next, the hand traps: 3 Fake Veiler, 3 Maxx C. Not playing Ash Blossom in the main deck or the side deck. With this deck, Maxx C is really good because you can draw extra cards, of course. And if they banish it with Call by the Grave, that means you don't have to really worry about Maxx C. And then Effect Veiler, it's the best hand trap for this deck because it's not once per turn. So you can use Veiler as many times as you want, which is really, really good. So only 6 hand traps. And then we get the Runick Engine. 1 copy of Fountain because it's limited in the OCG. 3 copies of the best ones. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You want to see them as often as possible. And then also I'm playing 3 copies of this one. So this one banishes a card for each card your opponent has on their side of the field. So typically 3 or 4 cards, which is pretty nice. And it's actually the most versatile out of all of them. You're almost always able to resolve this one. And your main win condition is actually deck out because you're skipping your battle phase. So you definitely want to make sure that you banish as many cards from the top of your opponent's deck as possible. And then 1 each of these ones, just more names, and they're useful as well because this one forces your opponent to draw 1 card, and then they have to banish 4 cards. So essentially thinning your opponent's deck by 5 cards, which is quite big for the deck out. And then this one forces your opponent to discard if they draw a card. So that's also still pretty nice. Trying to keep the deck as close to 40 as possible, so only one of each of these. And then the last card, Horus Sarcophagus. I'm kind of thinking of reducing it to not 1 copy, 2 copies. I don't really think that 3 copies are needed, but for this week, I'll just test out 3, see how it goes, and then I'll I'll see what I'll do from there. In total, it's 41 cards, which is fine. It's not a bad ratio, especially when you're drawing so many cards and you're thinning your deck so much. So going over 40 slightly is not really a big deal. So now for the extra deck, playing 2 copies of Hugin, one to search for your fountain if you need to, and then the other one is to make Chaos Chaos Angel later on. 1 copy of the doggy. The doggy gets back your fountain, which is very necessary with 1 fountain. Only playing 1 doggy because you'll typically deck out your opponent before you need to like recycle fountain too much. And also the Horus card Happy, the monkey looking one, he can actually get back your fountain if it's banished or in the graveyard. So yeah, you don't really need more copies of the doggy. 1 copy of Entis because of Diviner. And then 1 copy of a level 9 Runick card, Runick fusion card. He's very good. Can basically remove a threat every turn. If your opponent has like a negate or something or problematic monster, every single turn you can get rid of it. So definitely forces your opponent to use your negates on him, and if they don't destroy him, then he can just keep on doing that every single turn. Definitely good for stalling out your opponent for the deck out. 1 copy of Masquerena, 1 copy of SP Little Knight, also very good. Removes yourself from the extra monster zone, which is excellent in this deck. You want to free up your extra monster zone so you can summon your Runick fusion monsters. Also, it's a like disruption, kind of semi-permanent disruption. Yeah, keeps on banishing your opponent's monsters. And if you summon Chaos Angel using a dark monster, which is pretty easy, they can't attack over it. So that's a pretty strong lock as well. And then you have your Goddess, getting rid of stuff that can't be targeted or destroyed. Just problematic monsters in general. Typically summoning it using Masquerena, and against a lot of decks, just negate any graveyard revival effects. This deck definitely needs a lot of like disruption or negation, just to kind of force the game to last a bit longer and to put a wedge in the opponent's strategies, because you're typically skipping your battle phase, so attacking over their stuff is not really an option. And then you have Herald of the Arclight. You can actually summon it if your opponent negates your Diviner, which can come up, I guess, but mostly dumping it with Diviner. Chaos Ruler, dig for cards, very nice, very broken card. You can keep on reviving it and then using it as a rank 8 material with your Horus cards, very nice. Chaos Angel can make your monsters indestructible by battle or from battle. Very nice in this deck. Then playing Giant Trainer, number 90, the Vampire, rank 8, and Stellar Nemesis. Giant Trainer helps you dig for more cards, typically the one you'll go for. Yeah, and then this is just a monster negate. I was kind of debating over playing this card or Harbinger, but I think this card is better than Harbinger, because Harbinger basically does nothing against a deck like Labyrinth, and this card can actually keep their big monster Lovely Lady, I think it's called, the 3k attack one. Yeah, it can keep that card off the field, which is very nice for beating up Labyrinth. Then you have your Vampire. This also thins your opponent's deck, very nice. Helps you dig for 4 cards, and then you can summon one of your cards, which is typically how you can summon Diviner if you don't open with Diviner. Very, very nice, very good card. And then Stellar Nemesis, just to essentially be a floodgate for very high attack monsters, and it can also bounce your opponent's monsters, so that's some nice removal. Space is very tight in this deck. Not playing Baron. I thought about removing one Hugin, but then it kind of forces me to find a way to recycle it if I need to use it again. And I think it's better just to play two. I guess I could take this out for Baron, but I think it's easier to summon, and it removes a card every turn, kind of like Baron would. And Baron only has like one negate. Yeah, so I'm kind of iffy on it. I'll see if I need Baron today, but if I do need Baron, I'll probably remove this card for it and then keep the other cards, because in testing it's been, I guess, the least useful, because I have so much like negation and removal that typically it's not really needed. But I guess we'll see tonight after a couple of matches. So now I will show you a quick random hand, just so you can see how the deck plays. So should be randomized enough. Just one last cut. Okay, so let's just see how this hand is. Okay, illusionist. Okay, Veiler. Okay, that. Okay, and this card. Okay. Alright, so we'll see how to play this hand. So I think the best way to play this would be to go for this card. Get rid of the Veiler. It's not useful. Get rid of the Veiler, activate this, and then get to draw a card. Okay, add this, draw a card. Okay, call that luck. Okay, so we draw into this. Lucky. Right. So next, what we can do is we can activate this, and then we can wheel this guy, then add this to our hand. Alright, so we're adding that to our hand, and then we can activate it, send this to the graveyard so that we don't draw it, summon it. Okay. Alright, so now we will discard this, so we could send this one. I always send the worst ones to the graveyard. Yeah, these are the worst ones to have like face up on the field. He removes a card if they remove one of your cards by card effect, and then he makes all your guys unable to be, I think, destroyed or targeted or something. It's not as useful as the other two, which help you draw and recycle. Alright, so we'll summon these two back. Okay, so now we want to get more cards into the graveyard. Right, so put this in the leftmost. Okay, so we summon the vampire guy. So detach. At this point, we can actually get some free knowledge. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we hit Maxx C. It's whatever. We summon the Maxx C. Right, at this point, we have some knowledge as to what our opponent is playing. Okay, so we've got a couple of Runick cards in the graveyard. Alright, so then we'll activate this, and then we could summon Hugin, doesn't matter, and then we'll activate, and then we'll send back best ones, 3 of them, and then we'll draw 3 cards. Okay, so we got tip and we got this. Alright, so now we can actually normal summon this, and then we can use its effect. Just Dumb Herald, Can't actually add anything now, but it doesn't matter so much. So now he's level 6, and then you can simply do this. Chaos ruler effects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, right. So we add diviner, send the rest of the cards to the graveyard. Right. So at this point, what we can do is we can activate his effect, send fountain, and some other card, and then we can draw 2 cards. Right, cool. And then we can activate effect, summon doggy effect, add back the fountain. Right. So if you like, you can just turn doggy and Maxx Cd into Masquerena. Okay. And then you can activate the fountain again. Activates. So I like to search for the negation. It's the most generically useful against everything. Pretty much banish a card. And then it's done. Fountain effect again. So activates. And then we'll put back MST and then this one. I always want to put back the best ones first, to be honest. And then draw another 3 cards. Okay, so we got 6 cards in hand. And then we drew the happy. We only use this twice. But I think we have all our guys in the graveyard. But we want to get rid of the happy in the hand, so we'll just activate it. We can activate this up to 4 times in a turn. We'll just send another MST to the graveyard. Imseti, or however you pronounce it. Okay. So now what you can do is you can summon happy, and you can summon this one. If you like, you can make a rank 8. Summon photon guy. Alright, so we summon photon guy. We've got 4 cards in our hand. And then we can end our turn. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards in total, plus 7. And then we've got a bunch of disruption, Maxi and Veiler. We've got this card if they happen to destroy any of your monsters. We've got Photon Guy to negate, and then we can use Masquerena into SP Little Knight, and then we can banish a card opponent controls. If you like, you could turn these 2 into Little Knights, and then you could use Masquerena to summon Goddess instead of a Little Knight, if you want. But I kind of like this setup over that one, because you could remove these 2 and then you still have him to draw cards if your opponent gets rid of your monsters by card effect or something, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types. So you draw 4 cards. Yeah, you draw 4 cards, which is very nice. Yeah, so that's just a basic combo with the deck, with the random hand. We did draw into the fountain, but we could have just searched for it anyway. So yeah, and then you still have a lot of options in the extra deck. But you can simply just play with like the Horus cards, because this usually sticks. If it doesn't, you can add back or search for another one. So that is the deck. Right, so I'll play it today, and then will post about my experiences with the deck at locals. Right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.